So I just finished Season 1, Episode 8 of Star Trek Discovery, Sive Pacem Para Bellum, which in Latin means if you wish for peace, prepare for war, or something to that effect. And honestly, I didn't love this episode, and I'm not really sure why. I re-recorded this several times because every time I found myself scratching my head and going, okay, I didn't like this episode, but why didn't I like this episode? Because I'm still not really sure. A lot of things about this episode were technically good. So the setup for this story is that the Discovery is trying to figure out how the Klingon cloaking technology works, and they believe there is some way to use an array on the planet Pavo to figure out how that works, I guess. The setup was kind of strange, to be honest. And so they beam down, and for some reason they have to be 30 kilometers away from the array, so that they have to walk through the forest to get there. And what follows is a very interesting piece of sci-fi. The planet is full of what appear to be some kind of tiny organisms that communicate with the planet and with other species through peaceful vibrations, I guess. And Saru is more apt at understanding them because his species possesses higher sensory ranges than humans do. And so Saru basically tries to communicate with the aliens and then experiences this life-changing moment of peacefulness, and then he doesn't want to leave the planet and goes a little bit crazy. He gets basically like addicted to peace. It's really weird. And there is kind of this beautiful speech that he has towards the end because of that, though, where he explains that Kelpians are born afraid and they live their entire lives afraid. And this is the first moment he's ever gotten to experience without any fear in his life, and he didn't want to let it go. So that was kind of a beautiful character building bit for Saru, and I did like that a lot. I think that was my favorite part of the episode. I didn't really like the continued relationship building between Ash Tyler and Michael Burnham, just because it felt really weird and kind of sloppy the way that they put it together there. And I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy most of the interactions between the characters on screen, even when I wanted to. And again, this is really frustrating for me. I don't like disliking shows. I wanted to like this show. I love Star Trek. I like loving Star Trek. I would love for this show to be delivering me what I want, but it's not. And this time I'm not sure what the trouble is. It wasn't the usual bait and switch where it goes back to being basically just an on-screen action movie, but it wasn't as optimistic as most Star Trek is, and I think there was it just felt kind of hollow, I guess is the only way I can describe it, where I feel like this episode could have been really good if it had a little bit more heart to it, and I feel like there was just a lot that was lacking in terms of making me really feel for the characters. I'm also bothered by how little we know any of the bridge crew or anyone really besides Michael Burnham at this point. You know, we know and care about Stamets, we know and care about Tilly, we know and care about Saru, we know and care about Ash Tyler, and I guess we know Lorca. And then we have some extras that we see featured a few times who may be main bridge crew, but like, we don't know because they're not really characters, because they're not important at all to the story, ever. Which is, again, part of the problem with this show is I just don't care. I don't care about the Klingon War. I don't feel like there are really any stakes because I don't care about these characters. And I know things are going to turn out fine for the Federation because it's a fucking prequel. So all of this stuff they're trying to build up is big and scary and grimdark. I don't know why they're doing this when we already know the outcome. It's just not working, and you know, we're on episode 8. We've had so much time now to be getting to know these characters, and this show just isn't interested in focusing on that. And I guess we might as well talk about the bits of the Klingons. I hated them. As usual, we get to come back to Kidnapped Admiral, who is kind of a character, but not really. And she gets released from her cell by Larissa? I don't know. By the way, contrary to popular belief, I actually just watch the episode and then make a review on it. I don't have notes. This is a timer on my phone. I'm just going from memory here. Partially because I have to get ready for work and I have to leave soon, and partially because I don't want to watch Star Trek Discovery over and over for details. It's not worth it for me. So these are just my impressions based off of the episode that I just saw and nothing else. And so we get one Klingon that we've slowly kind of been trying to characterize at this point, but she's also kind of a hypocrite because she's dishonorable and has betrayed people. So I don't know why they're trying to pretend that she's so angry about the dishonorable people that she betrayed other Klingons for, because she's also dishonorable, but whatever. And now I guess she's gonna either die or something, because now they know she's not really evil, but she kinda is. Also, she may have killed the Admiral, but maybe not. The Admiral's probably gonna wake up alive, surrounded by Klingon corpses, so that's cool. I don't know what we were supposed to get out of that episode, or how that was supposed to really advance much of a plot with the Klingons at all. It seems like they barely got any information out of her and then either immediately killed her or immediately pretended to kill her so that she can escape. So I don't know what the point was of having her kidnapped if you were immediately going to make the payoff so bad. All in all, I hope that Star Trek Discovery gets better. I hope that these episodes get more cohesive. I hope that we start getting stories and characters that I actually care about. And I don't know. This episode, I think, was not my least favorite. It was just kind of disappointing because the previous episode was an episode with a little bit of a heart, with a little bit of fun. And, oh, we also got some development on weird things happening to Stamets in this episode, where now Stamets is grumpy again, and I guess the Spore Drive is doing more stuff to him. And we don't really get to explore that at all because it's just to build up for the next episode to see what's going on and make us intrigued and keep us watching. That's the other thing I don't like about Star Trek, is it didn't used to do this crap. It didn't used to do a slow build up these episodes, maybe pay off next episode. It usually would have a problem and then pay it off in the episode, and then you would come back and watch the next episode because it's good, not because you want to find out what's going to happen next, but because it's good and no other reason. And that's the problem, is I feel like it's trying to make me stick around because it's Star Trek, not because it's good. And, you know, it'll work for 1 or 2 seasons. I will give it all the way through season 2 before I start to completely dismiss this show, because I see the bones of a good show in here. But as it is, I'm pretty disappointed. I am not super pleased by Star Trek Discovery. This episode left a lot wanting, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't have very strong feelings about this episode. I didn't hate it, and I didn't love it. I thought some of the visuals were kind of pretty. I thought the character building with Saru was really good, but I just wasn't left with all that much of an impression of anything with this episode. It was just kind of meh. So, all in all, I'd give it, like, I don't know, a 6 out of 10. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't great. If you still haven't checked out Star Trek Discovery, if you're a hardcore Star Trek fan, I don't know if I would. If you like gritty sci-fi and you're not in love with Star Trek, then this will be fine. You'll like it. So, I guess that's everything I have for you on this. I don't know. I'm not even happy with this review, to be honest. I might re-review it when I get home from work today. We'll see. That's everything I have for you. Wiedersehen.